That was amazing.
I'm assuming it all went smooth and well on everyone else's end. It never looks good on my end, but I'm just assuming.
I've never had any lyrics with my name in them before, except like Fabrizio, you smell, Fabrizio, you stink. Outside of that, that was
Nice,
awesome.
nice. Yeah, yeah. I try to if I brought back the countdown songs, everyone. If you have watched like the past two, maybe three, I kind of didn't do them because it is tough. I do think of the lyrics. I don't write the
Yeah, yeah.
music, but I do think of the lyrics. But trying not to rhyme show and stream too much, it
That's funny.
becomes a challenge. But it's Saturday night. It's content. It's me. It's Fabrizio. We are here. We are hanging out. We're going to be talking some comics. And oh, I got a little. I even got a little. I should bring this up. Um, in the corner, you see comic book high five, but it's also. Oh, I didn't put it in the big one. Okay, never mind. Yeah, it's up there in the corner. I thought I'd put a big full screen graphic, but I did not load it. So sorry to disappoint. But we're going to be talking about some five comics that were influential, I guess.
Yeah, like whenever you asked me, it was like a comic that is important for a variety of reasons, or any one of these reasons. One is like memory of a time in your life, something that happened, the
Mhm.
art, the story. So I really took that to heart because it's kind of easy to pick five great comics that everybody's like, that's a great comic. So
Yeah,
I definitely kind of dug deep for these.
nice, nice. Well, we got gnarly manga. Michael in the chat saying hey.
How's it going?
And before we get into that, just real quick, just to remind everyone of you just wrapped up with all your issue 4 Horace H. Hoover stuff.
Yeah, campaign is fulfilled. So
And is let me put this up real quick so we can get a little look at your website.
yeah,
Is
so
everything is issue 4 on here yet, or when will it be available other
it
places?
is. It's on there. So as soon as I finished and fulfilled the campaign, I got another order of books, and everything is back on the store. So if you missed the campaign, feel free to pick up issues 1 through 4. I have the prints, the digital. Unfortunately, the resin models are gone. There are no. I might have a few that are unpainted that I could paint eventually, but for the time being, those are gone. I didn't put everything from the campaign because then I kind of thought, well, what's the point of backing the campaign? So, stuff I added to the campaign was like a sticker sheet and a bumper sticker and posters. So I don't have all of that stuff. I may kind of roll that out as the year goes by, but if you're looking for the issues to catch up,
Nice. Yeah, I
now is
got
the
mine.
time.
Mine right there. I just actually read it last week, I think, and yeah, enjoyed it. Pretty good stuff.
Thank you.
I mean, never and haven't not enjoyed one yet. I am interested in there's six parts altogether to the miniseries to the series, right?
5. Yeah,
Five.
there's
Okay.
5.
All right.
So issue 5, obviously, issue 4 wraps up like the bigger story. Issue 5 is self-contained,
Okay.
but there is some callback to issue 1. And because in issue 1 there were 2 short stories, and one was the Smoke Man, and one was the Satisfied Client with Big Tentacle
Yeah.
City. So some things were left undone for that, and this issue 5 kind of calls back to that a bit. I mean, I love issue 5. You can't help but get better each issue, whether it's the art, the writing, since I'm doing 100% of it, right?
Mhm.
But the plotting and the pacing for issue 5, I think, is really on point. And I'm excited to get that out. I have it laid out for the most part, outlined. I'll probably actually start doing pages in a week or so because my goal is to have like a Kickstarter roughly the same time. So November, do issue 5 Kickstarter. So that's the plan.
Sounds good. So if anyone is out there and you have not yet gotten into Horace H. Hoover, head to the website. It's pretty simple. Horace H. Hoover.
Yeah.
Look it up. It's pretty easy to find. But yeah, go buy these books. They're smart. They're fun. They're good to look at. Yeah, good stuff. But
Banned in 42 countries. Also.
yeah, that's how you know it's good stuff. That's how you know it's based, bro. We got Dr. Mask Retro Elixir saying good evening.
Hey, Dr. Mask.
He just finished reading Horace H. Hoover number 4.
Awesome.
It was delightful. Michael says he has to get into this series. Yes, you do. And Gray Cloudy Day is here saying he finished.
Hey, how's it going?
Today, and he agrees. So that's good.
Yeah, issue 4 was when you're wrapping up the story, that's kind of anybody can start a story, as we know. J.R.R. Martin or George R.R. Martin, right? Anybody can start a story and put out books, but until you finish that arc, like, it really doesn't mean much, and you just don't know the quality of it. So I really took a lot of time to make sure that this last issue sort of like tied some loose ends and got a satisfying ending. So.
Yeah. And you all need to, because there's this team that works on this book, and they all have multiple children, multiple families.
Exactly.
And they need to feed all them kids, all the mouths. So yeah, get on it.
Mortgages and car payments. This team they work hard, I have to admit. El Jefe is not the best. He's sort of a slacker, but everybody else is pretty good.
So all right, yeah, let's well, maybe we'll get back into that in a little bit when we get through some of these things. Man, I really am annoyed at myself that I didn't put that full screen thing. But anyways, I do have a lot of slides. I had mentioned
that's what I heard.
Yeah, it's tough for particularly some, the art on like, Sin City and stuff. You can't just like not pick certain things,
Yeah.
But we're gonna get into these 5 books. I need a high five sound too for the comic book high five. I gotta pick up my game. But jump first thing into what was the shortest. I did read 3 of these things in the past couple weeks. Cool. I reread Sin City, and then the Alan Morris one. My mind just gone blank.
League of Extraordinary
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Yeah, I read that for the first time. I'd seen the movie, but I read that. But we'll get into these ones first. The Mighty Thor 384. Tell me about what does this book mean to you? How did it affect you?
Yeah, so this is, oh man, I haven't read some of these in many years. This one I actually did read relatively recently, and I think it's 87, right? I think the year it came out, something like that. So I'm like 11 years old, which I think is like prime time, right? Now I had been reading and collecting since before I could actually read. But at this point, I kind of have my own money. I can discern a little better at 11 years old, 11, 12 years old. And the story is a great, like, it's a single issue. It's a one-off. It's like a dystopian future. And it was a complete story, and it was also like new to see Thor in a new costume, which I'm only 11. I haven't seen him in anything other than, well, when was the gold armor Thor? That was before this. Well, I don't want to get into that, but some books I only read them when I had access to them. So we'll just leave it at that. But just the cover of Thor, he's got spikes on his armor. It's a totally different Thor. It's in the future. I'm like, what is this? Red and yellow and blue. I mean, now I would learn later on that Ron Frenz is one of my favorite artists. And anytime I think about an issue or an image or something, I go back. I'm like, "Yep, that was Ron Friends. That was Ron Friends. That was Ron Friends." So to me, it was kind of like the beginning of me noticing a lot of things, really paying attention to the story, the art, all of that kind of stuff. That's kind of why I picked it.
Yes, I read through it. I'm this is like before I was really into comics. At this point, I enjoyed the medium in but didn't live anywhere where comic book stores were, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The comics I did have around about this time were things I found at a like antique store or whatever, like a
Hmm.
secondhand store and that kind of thing. But so Thor, I'm only you know partially familiar with as much as anyone else in general population probably is. I know, but not too much. But I so when I was reading this, I was like, oh, this is a different Thor than the Thor I know. Like, is this continue? And then it's not a continue. It just it ends, and I
Yeah.
guess goes back to. Is this like a soft reset for the Thor series, or
No,
just
I
it just
just
goes right back?
yeah, it was just like a one-off thing. The hammer, and I can't remember the issues leading up to this, but like I think Loki threw the hammer through some portal or through dimensions. It found its way to this location. This guy, he's going through some political issues. He finds it. He becomes Thor briefly, and then he sends it back to Thor, and he gets it. And then later on, this guy does return, and I mean, some of the stuff I haven't thought about or looked at in decades and decades. So I might get some of that wrong. But yeah, it was a one off. Um, but I also love that too because in my head, I'm a big weird fiction guy, so I like unfinished stories. I don't need
Mhm.
everything like handed to me. In fact, I prefer that not to be the case. So in my head, like this story, this kind of continued on forward, and then the regular Thor, I got that issues, but this still existed somewhere in my head.
Yeah,
So
and yeah, and then you got like this kind of page,
awesome,
big dramatic, awesome picture, full page. Um, that bottom panel is
love it.
pretty, and it's like out of the blue. It's like will he, won't he kind of moment, and pulls that out. So yeah, if you haven't read this, you could find it online. I found a really no, I won't say great website. It has a ton of comics. You have to deal with a lot of pop-ups though.
Mm,
Um, it's called Read Comic Online, I think.
hmm.
But we got Nick from Strange Pages saying
Hey, how's it going?
hello. He's our sometimes co-host. He's not able to make it tonight, but that's all right. But he had another podcast he was talking to people about today. So, um, and then yeah, Loki makes an appearance. And then here it is. He's at the end, um, wishing good luck, I guess, to the hammer. Like,
Yeah.
uh, and yeah, just a one shot, really, really fun, really quick, really easy. I am interested to know how is grabbing the hammer like an instant knowledge download of how to use all the powers because he was really good.
Yeah, I mean, like he's Thor, like very much how like the later Thor, because there was like the oh my god, this is like Thor trivia. Not Donald Blake, the later one with like the ponytail, that guy. Um,
See,
but he
that's how much I
spoke
know.
very much like normal, and
Mhm.
then and it wasn't like a ruse or anything. He just when he was Thor, he was different. So it's like
Like,
to be honest, that never really made too much sense to me. So I just kind of
mhm.
go with it. Um,
Kind of how Captain Marvel Shazam originally was
yeah, kind of like that. That's
before
yeah.
before he became like the little kid in a big body. He was Billy, and then he was Shazam. They were two almost separate beings that shared a consciousness somehow in mind. So
I will point out that if you look at that big shot of Thor when he changes, and I just put this together like Yeah, Eric Masterson, that was it. All of a sudden, like, go back to the Thor, like the big shot of him when he
Which
first gets
one
it.
is that?
Like that's absolute Thor, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Spikes everywhere. That's all you need to do to be absolute. So the absolute Thor did it way earlier.
um, maybe they yeah, just spin that off right now. So yeah, that's your first choice. Just a seminal moment in your child, something that stuck in your brain. It was
Yeah.
different. It was new, and wasn't a hold your hand moment for you.
Yeah, and just one last thing on that. It's like whenever you're real young, like 5, 6, and you're reading these comics, how much do you retain?
Mhm.
How much do you understand? But at 11, I'm reading this, and it's not just a Thor story. It's like, oh, like I kind of there are bad places, and it's not 1984, but it's the dystopian future all the same, right? Like you just think about it on a different level, and then it sticks with you. Like I didn't have to read this 1,000 times. You read it a
Yeah,
couple of times, and that story sticks with you. So
it was absolute before it was cool.
exactly.
Let's see, what do we got? Up next was the League of Extraordinary
Lee.
Gentlemen.
Um,
Before
I
you
mean, there's
before you get into that, this was another one where I could have picked so many. I read through like the first story arc, the first trade, and so many different pictures and stuff to choose from. I think I was able to keep it pretty limited, but yeah, we'll see.
amazing art. There's really the only thing I'll say about this is obviously Alan Moore, one of my favorite authors. Um, Huge body of work, and there's only a few things I don't like. This is not typically art that I like. It's
Mhm.
very cartoony. It's so rough and primitive to some degree, but then in the other hand, it's detailed and expansive, and like some of these cityscapes and the ship and all that kind of stuff are just
Mhm.
so amazing. So to me, it was just like, oh wait, I can like this kind of art that I generally don't like. Uh, and for a brief time, I'm like, can I draw like that? And the answer was no. It was a very quick, unequivocal no. I could not draw like this. But at this time, I really wasn't buying floppies. I was just buying
Mhm.
trades. It took me a while to get back into to buying floppies. I only had access to a Barnes and Noble, so what are you going to do?
Nice. We got real quick bootleggers joining us. He says, "Hey everybody,"
Hey, how's it
and
going?
he says, "Horace H. Hoover's favorite book of 2026."
Man, that is awesome.
Nice. So like I had said earlier, I had watched the movie, which I only remember parts and pieces. But parts of it I did, were reading through this did kind of, tie in some of those things like, oh, I remember that in the movie, this, that, and the other. This part I don't remember in the movie of them going to the young girls' school to find the Invisible Man.
Yeah, the differences between the movie and the book are pretty extreme in some
Yeah.
scenarios.
But even this like even in the book itself, this stuck out as like so I don't know, over the top kind of uh I don't know, silly, campy, I guess maybe. Where I mean, you see the building
Yeah.
itself is a spanked bottom, and is interesting. Is this the and they travel to America for this in this portion of the book? Is this a dig at America somehow or what? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Like whenever I think about when I first read it, yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Yes, I haven't read this in a long time either.
um,
Um,
yeah. None of the people. If you haven't read League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, you don't know what it is. It's uh, uh, literary characters from the 18th and 19th, 18th century, right? The 1700s, 1800s, 1800s. But Captain Nemo, the Invisible Man, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, I do not know who the woman is supposed to be. I'm not
Me,
that literate.
it's Mina Harker. So from
Um,
Dracula.
oh, okay, okay, yeah. Which I do have that on my belt, so I should have guessed that, and that's why she's got the scarf. Okay, it makes sense. She's got the scarf, but
Yeah.
so none of them are really of the men of the are heroic per se, and some of them are downright evil. But it's kind of a Suicide Squad of classic literary characters.
Yeah.
Um, but I thoroughly like you said. Moore's writing, his dialogue in this was fantastic.
Yeah. I read this before I saw the movie. And the movie, I'm one of the rare people that I can differentiate movies and books. I can enjoy them both, and I do. Like I watch
Mhm.
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the movie. It is nothing, really nothing like the book at all, other than
Mhm.
the fact that there are these characters and they have the same names. I mean, plot, characterization, really no resembling of the book. But that being said, it's such a cool concept that, and I don't know if this is the first time that's ever happened where I'm sure it's not the first time somebody has crammed, public domain literary characters into a story or a book.
Bootleg,
But it's so
bootlegger.
much fun.
Yeah, bootlegger says Penny Dreadful followed the same idea. I don't know
Yeah. Yeah.
if
Yeah.
that. I know that was a show, a series, TV series, but I don't know
Yep.
if there's anything
Same,
else.
same concept.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, but some of the art, like that top panel, the shading on his face and stuff. Like you said, there's something um, cartoony about it, but it still carries that. I mean, threat. It's almost a wood block cut
Yeah.
kind of thing
It's,
going on. But
man. And I don't know, like for some reason, Alan Moore, and obviously he picks the artist, so it just works with these stories. Like whether it's him and Eddie Campbell doing From Hell, there's something in the writing that works with the art.
mhm. We got. I remember martial law,
Oh yeah,
and then I never read the comic, but the movie was horrendous. I, d- I don't know if it was horrendous. I'd have to watch it again, but um,
horrendous. In a I yes, but I love it. I still love it. I'm not gonna lie.
so I'm assuming you've got all. Was it going to be um, six characters in this book that are based on literary characters: Jekyll, Hyde, Invisible Man, Dracula, Sherlock's in there, 20,000
Sh-
Leagues, and King
Sherlock's
Solomon's
not in
Mines.
there. It's Alan.
Moriarty.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
So he's
from
yeah
Sherlock. Yeah.
yeah he's they got that. So all those books are all. Have you got all those under your belt? Have you read all of those?
No, I haven't. I
Uh,
haven't.
oh, actually, let me go
Jekyll
back.
and Hyde and Dracula. Oh my god. What else did you say? Yeah, I
20,000
haven't read
Leagues
them
Under
all.
the Sea.
Sherlock Holmes. I never read anything with Alan Quartermain.
That one. Okay, so I got Alan Quartermain, Dracula. I don't have Sherlock Holmes yet. I haven't read anything Sherlock Holmes, and I just finished 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, listening to
Okay.
it last week. Um, Spoiler alert, I didn't really enjoy it.
I read it when I was really young. Well, not really young, like high school. So it's one of those books, you just kind of burn through. I have very limited recollection. I don't remember
Yeah.
liking it or disliking it. Just it was you get through it kind of thing.
There's like the first few chapters and the last few chapter, and maybe one in the middle somewhere where things actually happen. The vast majority of it was we traveled to this part of the ocean, and then a long list of fish.
Yeah.
And
It's like H.G. Wells and War of the Worlds. Like the premise and the adaptations are way more entertaining than the actual source material.
uh,
Um,
as I was listening to it, I was imagining kids back in the days when the book came out and it was popular, and they're like, "You guys, you want to play 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? You tell me what kind of fish they are, and I will categorize them." Huzzah!
Yeah. So many books like that. So many. What was I reading? It was Dickens. I can't remember what I was reading, but it was a page, and he's like, I walked into the room, and there were items on a table. And now this is where normally and he would move on to something else. Like, and I saw a lady standing there. The items on the table were like a book, like a potato, a knife, and he just lists items on this table. They had no relevance. It wasn't Chekhov's gun, so nothing was going to be. Nobody was getting stabbed. And I'm like, wow, that was a different time.
Yeah, this page was a fun page where they revealed that Mr. Hyde could see thermal, and yeah, assuming that would come up later in the series, but good
Yeah.
stuff. Um, yeah, here's Holmes and Moriarty, who ends up being the villain. I think that's the thing I remembered from the movie. Was I think he was also the villain in the movie as well.
He was, yeah.
This uh, you know, recently online there'd been talk about writing versus art, and that kind of thing. uh Here's 2 pages where the writing and the art are, and they can't be taken, even though there's no dialogue. Two
Yeah.
pages of the Invisible Man. I mean, and he's just getting dressed, but man, what a great couple pages.
Yeah, and the thing with the artist always does. Oh, geez, Kevin O'Neill, Kevin.
On this one,
Yeah, Kevin O'Neill. It's just these grid patterns throughout the whole thing virtually. He does not do very dynamic like panel layouts or anything like that, which I actually appreciate. I like grids. I like sort of standard, as you can probably tell from my comic, the stuff that I do is pretty standard.
Yeah. And I think there is maybe one double page spread per issue
Yeah.
in these books.
But look at that. That is like, amazing.
And a lot of them are things like Nemo ship, or some other machine. There's not a lot of like super. This is the most action in a double page spread. So
And I mean, I think that the reason is because I'm not trying to diss on his characters, but they're so odd and awkward. The last thing you want to do is zoom in a double page spread on like these characters for the most part. But I do love it.
And then I don't know if you remember, the trade has a full on like pulp story.
I don't remember
in the back of it. I did not read it, but I might get to it at some point. But yeah, it's a few chapters long. And see if I got any more. No, it goes to that one. But yeah, it's a full pulp story at the end of it. So I have to see what it's about. I think it's a Quartermain, Ellen Quartermain story.
Yeah. Yeah, that's again, some of these books I haven't read in decades. Although League I've read probably more often than the other ones. The version I have right now that I'm looking at, this is the Italian version. But they do, I guess there is stuff in the back. Totally forgot about that though.
Yeah, King Solomon's Mine is the only one of the Alan Quartermain books I have read, and it's one of my favorites. I really love that book. It's the whole story is just kind of a old depressed guy writing to his son, and some of the pearls of wisdom that he drops to his son are actually do hit on an emotional level. It's pretty solid.
Interesting. Yeah, so let me ask you, like, I have no problem taking characters and kind of tweaking them. So much like the movie adaptation of the book, right? So they're going to take the characters and change them around. People can complain about that. But also, I mean, he's taking characters from their original locations in the books and totally changing them as well. So
Mhm.
it's almost like you can have the same critique of the adaptation. I'm sorry, the graphic novel, because he's
Mhm.
pulling them from their original and just like totally messing with them, much like you would if you added the adaptation from the graphic novel to the movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I like someone who was a diehard fan of 20,000 Leagues watching, uh, what was that last one? Nemo on land.
Right. Yeah. So it's like you and Jekyll, obviously, Jekyll and Hyde. I mean,
Mhm,
that's one of the most egregious sort of um, changes. So it's kind of interesting that
mhm,
if you're going to complain about the movie from the graphic novel, you should complain about the graphic novel from the original books too.
yeah. Also, I don't know if he has more insight into, Nemo's background, but I they didn't touch on that really in the book at all. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, whatever. I,
I
I like what he did with them, but yeah, they didn't.
so this is not the book that I picked.
Oh no, no. I just wanted to touch on
Oh, okay.
if nobody remembered or is unfamiliar with the Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Um, it was a series where I mean it was an event, an X-Men event where they took every X book, added one was X-Man that was added into the mix as well, which wasn't there before, and made this incredible story of time shifting, time changing, and with it came a lot of really iconic and cool character redesigns.
Yeah.
Um,
Like it shouldn't have worked as well as it did. That's kind of how I view it.
and I think like Joe Mad here and Chris Bakula, is that how you say his name?
Bacalo. I don't. I could be
Bacula?
pronouncing that wrong, but I've always
Yeah,
said
but
Bacalo.
it's kind of even though they'd done things early, it's just kind of where what gave them their big um, momentum forward was these books.
Yeah, and again,
Um,
another like dystopian future, like
mhm,
setting for these characters, and like specifically Generation Next, like very cartoony, and that's not something I really gravitated towards. But if done right, I realized that I really liked it.
and that's I just wanted to point out that Juggernaut was a monk in this series, which I thought was kind of cool. But and that's just a rad cover. Um, let's see. I know I got two of them.
Yeah,
There we
there we
go.
go.
So what about in particular this out of all the whole event was it
Yeah,
that was
yeah. So this was definitely like a time period. So I think it was what 95, 96. I can't remember exactly. I was in college, and I was dating a girl who's my wife now, so that was like 30 some years ago, whatever. But anyway, we're kind of getting to know each other. Hey, here's some movies, music, and I was into comics. And as most men out there know, it's difficult to get a new girl to start reading comics. Um, so Generation Next kind of like fit the bill. It was this particular story, like there's a couple of characters that are like Paige in particular, right? Is or Husk, I think that's her.
Mm,
Uh, is just this very cute girl. The dialogue is fun. It's a cool setting, and this book, the ending is brutal. So it's got that like emotional impact at the end. Um, so yeah, I got her. Not that she collects comics or anything, but she actually read this. So here I am, sophomore in
mhm.
college, or whatever, reading it. So this is definitely a time period thing.
When I pulled up that first page for BT, I was like, what the hell is this? um, when I was looking through the whole Age of Apocalypse, storyline, just kind of breezing through, I realized, man, I read a lot more of these than I remembered. And yeah, I was surprised at how many of them I'd actually read. I that's a lot of money I spent back in the day.
Yeah, like I said, it actually worked better than you would think. Like, those events were hit or miss. Later on, they were all miss, but oh man, look at that image. It's great.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And this in particular, the stands out as its own like thing compared to, you had the Kubert boys on a couple books. You had Joe Mad. There was the art in this was very much apart and separate from all the other all the other ones. This is, I mean, I'll show you.
Yeah.
Like, who is this, like, this character, like, out of nowhere,
Oh
um
man.
these weird trippy um landscapes, like,
Oh man, look at that. So good.
yeah. So I could definitely see how it would catch the eye and stand out amongst all the others for sure.
I haven't looked at some of this in I don't know how many years.
um I got introduced to Chris Bacalow's art in I'm pretty sure he did Death before this, right? For the
Death? I don't
Sandman.
know.
Sandman's Death
Uh,
miniseries, two different
did he?
miniseries. I think it was
I know
before.
I read Death, but I didn't realize that was him. If that was the case.
I think it was. If you're watching right now, confirm that for me because I'm pretty sure that was him because I remember he does the little hatch mark on the noses.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you mention it, I could totally see that. I remember reading that, but at the time I wasn't paying attention to the artist. I know, shocking.
Let's see what Bootlegger says. When I avidly collected and refused to buy any X, that's what everyone was reading, and I didn't want any part of it. And I could see that.
I,
That that I think I got into that a little bit late. I'm probably there right now, where it's like I just want the indie stuff, but
yeah, I wasn't overly particular. So again, just to set the stage here, I'm in college. I went to school in Edinburgh. In Erie, there's one comic book shop, and this comic book shop is the size of my living room. It was a comic book shop slash RPG store slash used bookstore. So I had an access to like a half a wall of graphic novels and like a couple of long boxes. So the idea that I would even be exposed to indie. Now they did have Dark Horse, and that was a big deal, but that's as far as it went.
mm,
No
yeah.
real indie stuff.
Um, let's see what else we got. Just more great
Yeah.
art.
His stuff can get, oh man, that's fantastic. It can get overly wrought sometimes and a little hard to decipher. Not necessarily in this book as much, in some of his other stuff, like Steampunk, if anybody's read that. But
Mhm.
this, I think with the coloring, it's still readable. Man, what a great image.
Like that character. Like, I mean, I know within X-Men, I mean, in general, Marvel, and they have, Modoc and weird, crazy characters, but these ones are almost on a fantasy, you
Hmm.
know, story level, which this feels like. It has kind of fantasy elements in it. There's like the castle that they showed earlier. There's
Yeah.
it kind of feels like they're in some sort of v- um, you know, uh, Renaissance village at one point. Um,
Yeah, like and Chris Bacalo could always draw a cute girl, and there are a few like if you can't draw a cute girl, I say give up and don't draw comics. Like that's really the test, right? Anybody can draw like a heroic dude, but if you can't draw
yeah.
a cute girl,
Bootlegger says, I went to my LCS with my 14-year-old today, and they had a copy of Cyberfrog #1 from Harris Comics in pristine condition.
wow,
Had to pick it up.
that's pretty wild.
It says, I guess I was a comic snob of sorts. I liked a lot of Dark Horse stuff, Aliens, Predator, The Thing, etc. Spider-Man 2099 was one of my favorites.
That was good.
I got so much hate from the comic book guy for it. um, yeah, Spider-Man 2099 was also one of my favorites. I had a lot of hope for the rest of the 2099 stuff, and never, none of them really caught on for me like that. But
No, the 2099 stuff, I freaking loved it. Rick Leonardi is one of my favorite artists. And to see
Mhm.
him do, I think he at least did the first 12, 13 issues. He did a lot.
Yeah.
Um, man, I love 2099. I
Yeah.
almost, it was unfortunate that he kind of got popped into the popular zeitgeist
Yeah.
recently. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I liked him as a long forgotten Spider-Man.
Mhm. And I like the, I had a lot of, I like, the Punisher, and I had hopes for the Punisher 2099.
It was terrible.
The Doom,
Doom.
was interesting. The fact that it was still him, just brought into the future. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, but, all right, so then, let's move on to the next one. We got,
Well, like I do want to talk about the ending of this. Like,
oh,
so
yeah.
the ending of Generation X. What were your thoughts on this? Of the book,
I
like the content.
I didn't read all the way through because, like I said, I started getting into all of it. So I was reading all. I'm gonna have to get through the entirety of the event, because I started reading from the beginning, and I got.
Because it is a really it is brutal ending. And up until this point, I don't know if I can't remember the last ending that had such an impact on me than this one. Like
Mm,
I'm trying to think. I can't think of any book either before that that really had such an impact.
mm.
Well, anyway, if it's spoilers, 40 years old or 30 years old,
Yeah, yeah.
um, they have to leave somebody behind, and it's really a brutal scene.
Mm.
So
I'll have to check it. I'll have to read into it then, because, yeah, I mean, having something that's, an emotional, hit in that way is what you want out of
yeah,
when you're reading anything, or watching anything. So yeah, that sounds like I have to get into it. Um, so yeah, we get into the next one, which is, Witchblade.
yeah. So
Um,
this, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
uh, I I kind of skimmed through this one. I didn't really read. I think I read the first two, and then, um, skimmed through the rest of it. But, um, it's a beautiful book.
So this is definitely a setting time as well. So
Yeah.
I'm out of college at this point. I think, yeah, the first year out of college, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna live in Erie for a bit with this dude, and I knew him from high school. He seemed like a solid guy. I got a job at Barnes and Noble, while my soon to be wife or eventual wife was finishing her school. I'll live there for a year. It turned out to be hellish, but whatever. And at that time, I was a fine art student. So for the last 5 years, I was in school doing charcoal drawings and oil paintings and all that kind of stuff. So it's not like I didn't sort of keep up with comic book stuff, but my head was just focused on something else entirely. So
Mm,
I hadn't drawn like what somebody would consider a comic book character in years and years at this point. It was just
yeah.
so outside the realm of what I was doing. I thought eventually I would get back to it and I would be able to sort of incorporate all of this anatomy and perspective and stuff that I had been learning in school. So anyway, now I'm living with this dude, and he's like, "Hey, I just wrote a story for a comic book. Do you want to write it or do you want to draw it?" And I'm like,
Mhm.
I hadn't thought about it, but I guess why not?" So the first thing I did was like, "Okay, well, what kind of art are you thinking, or this or that?" And he showed me Witchblade, and to me, Witchblade was very odd in
Mm,
some respects. The art was so different than what I was used to. It just has, and it's hard to describe it. This is obviously the height of Michael Turner. I
mhm.
wasn't collecting these, but I was exposed to them, and I remember looking at it, and this is going to sound terrible, but it was just like, oh, I can do that. Like, if this is where comics are right now, I think I can do that because it wasn't anatomically accurate. It didn't
Mhm.
have all of these things that I was used to with Buscema or Friends or Mazzucchelli and things like that. And this is when I did my first comic. So it's 1999, and he wrote it, and I drew it in the style of, or not in the style of, but I'm like kind of that again zeitgeist of
Mhm.
that Michael Turner, not Silvestri, but that era.
Yeah.
So I did my first comic book convention in 1999. We got a table. It was it was something special, and I'll talk about that some other time. But so that's why I
Nice.
picked this. It wasn't necessarily because the stories, I don't even remember the story at all. I don't even know if I read a bunch of them, but it was a very important, like, it brought me back into comics kind of,
Nice.
and thinking about comics and drawing them. And I mean, you know what, maybe I can draw and actually contribute. And so that's why I picked this one.
Nice. What I gleaned from it is uh she's somehow the chosen one. Like she's able to handle the power of the Witchblade glove, which um uh the bad guy had tried, but like it hurt him somehow. But as the story goes on, this character right here, and the brown girl is her daughter. That's not a full grown adult. That's supposed to be like a young teen.
Oh,
That's the
I don't remember
inability
that at
of
all.
and I guess from just kind of skimming over, I think she ends up getting like trafficked or something.
Yeah, I
There's some
don't.
scenes where yeah, she's but um yeah, as far as
The ninja guy, I remember him. Yes. And
art
now,
and action, it's very
objectively,
much of the time.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So again, I'm not trying to diss Michael Turner. I mean, he made a lot of money and super popular, and I was and am nothing. But it was just interesting because for 20 years I'm looking at all of this very naturalistic art. I kind of dipped my toe into the cartoony stuff. I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. And then this was just, it was just strange to me, and it was mostly coloring that like gave it form.
Mhm,
Like
mhm.
there's really no spotting of blacks. It's just the coloring for the most part. I mean, the idea of anatomy is just like, at least Liefeld tried to do anatomy sometimes. This was like just completely in the other direction. But who doesn't like a shot like that though on a cover, right?
Bootlegger says he believes that the Witchblade had to be worn by a woman, and that it was.
Yeah,
Or that's Dr. Mass. Sorry, Bootlegger said Rock and Body was able to handle the power. Yeah, so
of course. Yeah, that's all I remember. She found a glove, put it on, and became the Witchblade. But that's all I kind of remember. Now this
yeah.
needs no words.
And the last one, oh, we got a couple of remember Ninjak? Did you ever get into the
Yes, I do remember Ninjak.
I I remember seeing never I am more willing to get into Ninjak and who else was there? Blood what was his name? The
Bloodshot.
Bloodshot. All those other characters. I'm more willing now, but not the new versions. I want to go back and
Mm.
read the when they were back out then. But let's see what else. Valiant. Shadow Man's a Valiant title.
Shadow Man. I don't think I know Shadow Man.
Radio Stories Now saying hi. Just want to pop in quick, say hi. I hope everyone's having a lovely Saturday.
Hey,
I am. How about you?
thank you. This is fantastic. I get to
And
show how old I am.
Shaman's Tears. I don't know what that's in reference to. Is that another book?
If that's from Ninjak, it's over my head.
Sin City, That Yellow Bastard. Was this the second or third of the Sin City stories? I
Totally
don't
don't
remember.
know. I don't remember
Yeah.
that. But again, this is that little comic book shop did have Dark Horse, and I was introduced to Hellboy and
Mhm.
Sin City, and I've always loved noir. Like, I can't describe how much I love noir. So when this came out, it was just like, this is the most perfect comic I've ever read. Like, and to this day, I don't know if it's ever been topped in my head.
We got Mike Grell book. I guess that's what it's in reference to.
The Shadow Man.
Yeah, but yeah, this also same thing. Hellboy, and then Sin City. And I remember reading in the letters pages of one of the Sin City books where he mentioned Mike Mignola is the only guy who uses more black than I do in his
That's
art.
funny.
So that's just something that stuck out to me, which made me actually go and find Hellboy. So
Man, for my money, Frank Miller will go down in history as the probably the best writer, I think. And it's because nobody has ever come close to Sin City in like doing a noir type
mhm.
stuff. Um, it's so iconic. Like he has this inscrutable ability to make like almost every image and panel iconic, whether it's Sin City or Ronin or the 300 or like I don't know what it is, but he can do it, and nobody will ever come close to him. Um, yeah, it's just I hate it sometimes. I'm like I can't do one iconic image in 4 issues. He can do one every other page.
I mean, there was one page I don't think I got where it was a full black page, and then in the about middle off to the center a little bit was one panel, and and it was tiny, but it was, I think he was having a heart attack, so it just filled in that sense of closing in drama. It was yeah, it just he does amazing stuff. The one thing, like, look at all that face. Look at that rough, terrible face. Um,
Fantastic.
the one thing I did not remember while reading this is that he falls in love with Nancy. Even though I'd seen the movie, I'd read the comic, like both, but that was one thing that just slipped my mind till I reread it last
Yeah.
week, and I was like, yeah, I don't like that. It's kind of
I
gross.
mean, but like so the thing about noir is like he takes it and he makes it Frank Miller. It's like Prince redoing whatever Prince did, whatever genre he did,
Mhm.
he managed to make that song like his version of that genre in such a like a unique way. And I've read a bunch of Mickey Spillane books and Raymond Chandler and all of this noir stuff, but for some reason, Frank Miller could do his own unique thing, and it's just the greatest thing in the world. Look at that shot.
I know that one, and then all of a sudden there's
God,
just yellow, just bright yellow, and beautiful
crazy.
stuff.
Yeah, this is definitely, and there's also an old hardcore band called Turmoil, and they had Frank on the Marv on the T-shirt.
Oh, no.
And I remember it was for a long time. Sin City was kind of this, like, oh, Sin City, like you're one of the cool ones. So it is kind of like, oh, the movie comes out, everybody knows Sin City, but I had a point, I can't remember what it was, but
Skinny little Nancy Callahan. She grew up. She filled
she
it
did.
out. Bootlegger says, I remember when I read A Dame to Kill For. Told my friend how much I loved it, and someone should make it a new movie. He said it will never be made. Was that Robert Rodriguez? Did
Yeah,
those the Sin Cities? Yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah.
first one was so much better than the second one somehow. And I think it was because the second one was way more digital and clean, and the first one was had a graininess to it that really fit the feel of Frank's
Yeah,
cities.
I still like the second one, but yeah. So the style, right? The black and the white with like the negatives and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, Jim Lee tried to do his own version of this kind of stuff. He did Death Blow,
Yeah.
and it's like even at that time, one of the best artists at the top of his game could only like do a crappy secondhand version of, of Frank Miller, like off the cuff.
hmm But yeah, the this definitely I have wherever it is, read one of the collected down there, which I hadn't haven't cracked since I bought it. and going through this makes me definitely want to reread all this.
Ugh. Like so it's all like this self-confidence, this confidence to do a shot like that. I would never be able to do it because I can already hear people reviewing it and saying, "Oh, he just wanted to he didn't want to work on this page." Oh, like you know what I mean? There's this like
Mhm.
chorus of people that would have their snide little comments about this page. Meanwhile, it's like pure poetry. It's like it's incredible.
Says, and to this day, anytime someone comes out with a noir style book, it'll be compared to Sin City. That's true.
It's unavoidable. Like I know Brewbreaker came out with what was it? Fatal? A long time ago. Fatal. That was like a really noir. He did another one too. And they were basically just like there was no art to them.
Mhm.
They were noir novels put to a comic book, but it didn't reach the art of Frank Miller. And again, who's going to do it? Nobody can do that. Like Bootlegger said, it'll be compared to this, unfortunately. So we just have to assume,
Yeah.
just have to accept that and move on. Actually,
Very.
Bootlegger's next comic is going to be like a noir vampire thing. Sounds very cool.
Yeah, his bootleg is the one he's working on, Nostradamus Effect, and you're working on something else, right?
Yeah, that I'm blanking on the name, but it's like a noir vampire.
Dr.
But
Mass says my favorite is Sin City Silent Night, full page shot of Mar walking through the snow.
man,
Um, Last week I talked to Godfo Universe, and he is mentioning like punk rock, uh, uh, you know, has kind of been lost. And the whole time he was talking, I was thinking of Frank Miller, where even now the covers that he's doing, you know, for Marvel and stuff, you look at him and a lot of people are like, oh, he's lost his touch or whatever, but it's him being him. It's him still having that absolute like surety, self surety to be like, I'm just gonna make
yeah.
this how I want it to look. It's my style. It's what I like, and yeah, screw you if you don't.
I mean, yeah, you got the 300 and Ronin, and each one of those books is if one person did one of those books in a lifetime, they would be considered one of the all-time greats. And then you have Year One and The Dark Knight. I just don't think anybody will compare to Frank Miller. I really don't.
Sangre
Sangre
de
de
Cristo.
Cristo.
Yeah. And Dr. Mass says, that's it. Put my noir story on the shelf.
We won't judge. We won't judge. But all that to say, I love noir. Like I want more noir stories. I think there's not enough of them.
Mm. Um, do do you have a preference, like in the sense of are you expecting them to be black and white, or is like Star Noir? Have you gotten around to reading that one?
No, they don't have to be black and white. I mean, you have like sort of like classic noir and then neo noir, and neo noir obviously is a big umbrella, and that's
Mhm.
fine. I think neo noir is more sort of like tropey plots, and again, I don't mean that in a bad way. Every Mickey Spillane book is the same. Um, and then you have like sort of classic Third Man and Sin City stuff, which I do think actually works better black and white.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I'll take any noir.
So yeah, there's your comic book high five for the night. I'm sure, like you said, there's comics that are like, oh, this is the cool one, this is my favorite, this whatever. But I appreciate that it's like these are points of my life. These are things that like you said, got you back into comics, sort of, and all that sort of thing. I appreciate that you thought about it and
Yeah.
brought those comics to us today.
Yeah, um and it's the funniest part is I didn't realize until afterwards that they were all roughly published the same time, mid 90s.
Mhm.
And other than Thor, I don't know, League is probably 2000 ish, maybe something like that. Um, but like the 90s get a lot of crap.
Yeah.
And but some of the best books of all time were actually published in the 90s. So it's like we should say, okay, Liefeld or Image or that, like be
Yeah.
really specific, because when you look at the 90s and you have Hellboy and Sin City and some of these really incredible books, they
Mhm.
get the short shrift on that.
Yeah, they get caught up in the tidal wave of the speculator boom and
Yeah.
all that other stuff, and like nobody was out there buying multiple variant covers of Hellboy, or
Yeah.
whatever. You got your Dark Horse Presents, and you're like, holy crap, this is a really cool story in here. And then sooner or later there'd be a series, hopefully, and you'd find it, and yeah, there's some great stuff that came out of there for sure.
Yeah, like The Goon is probably the other, and I don't know when that came. That wasn't mid 90s, was it? That
Yeah,
was much
that was a bit
later.
later. Yeah.
Yeah. But those are sort of like my dark horse picks. Um,
Dr.
oh
Mash
man,
wants
favorite
to know
noir
what your favorite
movies.
noir is.
I've read more books than movies, but again, neo noir, right? So that's like anything with the kind of like the plot structure. L.A. Confidential's fantastic. It is very classic noir. I love that movie. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is like a neo noir, right? A lot of the Shane Black stuff is it would be considered neo noir. Um, people put me on the spot, and I'm trying to think of movies.
I recently, for the first time, watched The Third Man,
Yes,
um, which beautifully shot, beautiful, like a really
beautiful.
enjoyable movie. There's that first scene when you see Orson Welles just
Yeah,
come out of the shadow, the light shines on him. It's like, oh, that's good
yeah.
stuff.
Like Frank Miller, I feel like he's obviously pulling from that stuff more than
Mhm.
anything, more than the books, more than a movie from the '70s. It's that really beautiful stuff. Um,
Dr.
yeah,
Mass says, there's crap made in every decade. Yes, there is. I mean,
yeah,
that's one of the reasons most people in our little corner of the indie space moved into our little corner of the indie
yeah.
space is they're looking for the good stuff.
Geez, now, all right.
You watch
I gotta look at noir movies because I'm sure I'm gonna kick myself.
um,
What
Bootlegger
about
says
Bootlegger? I'm sure you have some.
the goon has new meaning these days, and it does.
Oh no, I'd never thought about that. Although the dude, Powell from the Goon is such a freak show that it's like sometimes it makes it difficult to look at that. He's a great artist, but man, he's a lunatic.
Yeah,
Um,
I've always wanted to read some of the Goon, and I just have never gotten around to it. I love the art, but haven't
the
ever picked it
art's
up.
great. The story is I used to love it, and then I just kind of stepped back one day, and I'm like, I don't really know if I love the story. I love the
Mm,
artwork, and I love the setting, but the Goon and the other character, Timmy. Oh, jeez, it's been so long. The other character, I can't think of his name. They're really terrible human beings, and it's like this is the author coming through. This is the author's absolute amorality, like coming
mhm,
through in the story.
mhm.
Um, and then once you realize that, it gets kind of weird and creepy. It's like George R. Martin. You're watching Game of Thrones, and you're like, oh, this is a pretty good show. Okay, there's some weird stuff going on, but it's a pretty good show. And then you watch some other stuff, and you're like, I think
Mhm.
George R. Martin's a little. He's got some issues. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
there's somehow they telegraph it through, and it becomes not the characters are doing things, but they got some they got some
yeah.
fetishes that they're really trying to like work through in these stories.
I it's I feel that with every Tarantino movie. Like this is 100% Tarantino talking to me. Like,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah, yeah.
but real quick question. Out of these 5 books, what did any of them have more or deeper influence on your book, your Horace H. Hoover stuff you're doing?
Yeah. I think undoubtedly generation so, like, I'll say the, like, dramatic, like, those really those moments that really stick with you. Now, obviously, in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, we didn't talk about the scene, right? With, Hyde and the Invisible Man. But those are the things that
Mhm.
I recognized. They stuck with me, so they stick with other people. The ending of Generation Next is so emotional that's a big thing. That yellow bastard, it's just so good, but it doesn't it's not emotional for me. So that for me, that yellow bastard is more like just pure like imagery and
Mhm.
pure like perfectly plotted book. By the way, like it's
Mhm.
just it's a perfect Miller book.
The Sin City books are they're excellent, but you almost you don't almost don't care because like the whole city, the whole every character is like they're not the best people. There's
No.
you know, and it is kind of that I guess in a way that um classic noir thing where almost nobody is a hero, but they're forced into situations that they have to deal with, as best as they can, and it might reveal some sort of heroic nature in them, but at the very least it shows them um doing their best to survive.
Yeah, yeah. So like Marv is a perfect example. I mean, you love Marv. He's just awesome. Um, but he's not a good character, but he takes the role of a protagonist, but
Mhm.
he's just taking that role because, right? Not because and it has nothing to do with his personality other than getting revenge for what's her name.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so as for Horse H. Hoover, I would say Generation Next more than anything.
Nice. Charlie Chan series, as I'm assuming as a
I'm
noir
not familiar
series.
with that. Yeah.
um
Oh,
I've heard of the Charlie Chan series.
Chinatown. That's a good one.
Call My Boy in Son 1 and Son 2. Who plays Charlie Chan? Because I know it's not an Asian
It's
dude. It's
no, I'm blanking on. Um, but anyway, yeah, I would say for specifically Horace H. Hoover, Generation Next is probably the most. I would say analog
yeah,
to that stuff. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for having me. This was fun. I mean,
yeah. If we so you've gotten through a movie, we got comics. At some point we'll have to bring you back for the music portion.
yeah.
I'm still the last time I did one with music, I believe it was with Bootlegger. It's not so much a strike. It's still up. The video's still up, but when I look at it on my end, there's a little red triangle um, that says it's restricted in certain areas, and I don't
Uh,
know where those areas are. But it's mostly because I tried to show a little video,
yeah,
and which didn't work out. But
that
yeah,
sucks.
still trying to figure it out. I have got another guest that's wanting to do the music, and we'll see how it works when I do it with them, and see if it.
Yeah, that's right. The music would be tough. I can't even remember what I picked, but I mean I play guitar. I'm a huge music fan, so I mean music is huge when I'm writing, when I'm
Yeah.
concepting. It's just it's
And one
integral.
more, one more bootlegger says, "You don't know Charlie Chan? Wow, I'm old." So,
I mean, I'm pretty old too, though, so I feel like, but sometimes you just miss stuff.
yeah,
Oh my! So Clutch, Portishead, Earth Crisis, Brown Bird, and Kiss. Yeah, those are good ones.
yeah, yeah. We'll see about sometime in the future. Maybe whatever you're working on next, when you get around to it, we'll talk about those when you're launching the next
Yeah, Yeah,
next thing?
so Horace H. Hoover issue 5's coming this year, and I will be essentially doing promo and marketing for the next book I'm doing, which is next year. So I'm going to
Okay.
spend a whole year sort of putting out advertising and marketing, kind of getting things going for the next series, which is very, very different than Horace H. Hoover.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks for coming on. Like I said, thanks for sharing your comics and
Yeah.
what they meant. And we will see you all guys next week. I am talking to who was it? Cole King, I believe.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's who I'm talking to. And I don't remember. It's a movie next week. I don't remember what it is, but yeah. So tune in. I think it's also going to be an earlier one. I think everyone's back east, so um,
We're all back east.
yeah. I'm also thinking like maybe I should start doing it Saturday mornings when I'm still full of vim and vigor. Haven't run out the day with and grown tired. But anyways, yeah, thanks for joining us, everyone in the chat. We will see you next week. And